I stared at my phone screen, the banking app's interface blurring as tears welled up in my eyes. My fingers trembled as I gripped my wine glass, the rich Cabernet suddenly tasting like vinegar. $92,000. Gone. Just like that. My name is Patricia, and I just discovered my mother emptied my life savings to buy my brother a house. Oh, honey, don't make that face, Mom chirped from across our family's mahogany dining table, the one she'd bragged about buying from a designer boutique last month. Caden needed the money more than you do. You're single, no kids. What were you saving for anyway? I looked up from my phone, meeting my brother's smug grin. He was already scrolling through real estate listings on his tablet, showing Dad pictures of his future mansion in Woodland Hills. The same brother who'd never held a steady job for more than 8 months. The same brother who still had Mom do his laundry at 36. That money was mine, I said, my voice barely above a whisper. I trusted you with that account for tax purposes. 10 years of savings. Don't be dramatic, Mom waved her hand dismissively. We raised you better than to be selfish. Family helps family. Besides, Caden has responsibilities coming up. He's planning to propose to Sarah next month. I blinked. Sarah broke up with him 3 weeks ago. Minor setback, Caden shrugged, not even looking up from his tablet. Hey, check out this pool. Dad cleared his throat, finally speaking up. Nancy, maybe we should have discussed this with Patricia first. Ernest, please, Mom cut him off. Patricia makes good money at her accounting firm. She can start saving again. Caden needs to establish himself. I stood up, my chair scraping against the hardwood floor. The sound made everyone look up, except Mom, who was now pouring herself another glass of wine. Where are you going? She asked, annoyance creeping into her voice. We haven't had dessert. I made your favorite chocolate mousse. It's Caden's favorite, I corrected her, grabbing my purse. Mine is tiramisu, but you'd know that if you ever actually listened to me. Now you're just being petty, Caden chimed in. Come on, sis. It's not like you were using that money anyway. You work 60 hours a week. When would you even have time to buy a house? I walked to the door, my heels clicking against the floor like a countdown to explosion. But I wouldn't give them the satisfaction of seeing me break. Instead, I turned around one last time, my voice steady. Mom, I'm calling the bank tomorrow. I never authorized this transfer. Mom's wine glass froze halfway to her lips. You wouldn't dare. We're family. Family doesn't steal from family, I replied, then added with a smile that felt like broken glass. But you're right about one thing. I can afford to start over. I have no kids to support after all. The door clicked shut behind me, cutting off Mom's indignant sputter. In my car, I pulled out my phone and dialed the bank's 24-hour fraud hotline. As I waited on hold, I opened my photos and found the screenshot I'd taken of Mom's text from last year. Of course I removed my name from your savings account, sweetie. I took care of it right after tax season. Another lie, another manipulation, another example of how Mom always expected me to give, while Caden took. The hold music stopped and a friendly voice came on the line. Thank you for calling. How can I help you tonight? I took a deep breath, my hands steady now as I gripped the steering wheel. I need to report an unauthorized withdrawal from my account, and I have evidence of premeditated fraud. As I drove home that night, my mother's words echoed in my head. Family helps family. Well, she was about to learn exactly how helpful I could be. I was going to help them understand consequences. I was going to help them learn about karma, and most importantly, I was going to help myself to some long overdue justice. My phone buzzed with a text from Caden. Thanks for the down payment, sis. God really does provide. I screenshot the message, saving it to a new folder labeled Karma Package. Then I poured myself a proper glass of wine in my quiet apartment and started making calls. First to my best friend Jillian, who happened to be a lawyer, then to my bank manager. They wanted to play games with my money? Fine. But they were about to learn that this overlooked, childless daughter knew exactly how to play, and win. Let me get this straight, Jillian said, spreading documents across her desk. Your mother never actually removed herself from your joint account, then used that access to transfer your entire savings to your brother for a house down payment? She pushed her glasses up her nose, frowning at the bank statements. That's exactly what happened. I handed her my phone, showing the text messages. She told me last year she'd removed her name. I trusted her. Classic mistake. Jillian's heels clicked against the floor as she walked to her filing cabinet. But it works in our favor. The bank's fraud department is already investigating. I nodded, taking a sip of the coffee she'd offered. They froze the remaining funds this morning. Mom's already called me 6 times. Don't answer, Jillian warned, pulling out more forms. In fact, let's document every call, text, and email from now on. Your brother posted about the house on social media? I pulled up Caden's Instagram post, a photo of him grinning in front of a sold sign, caption reading, "When God closes a door, he buys you a 3-bedroom in Woodland Hills. Blessed choose God is good. New homeowner." Perfect, Jillian muttered, taking screenshots. The timestamp on this matches the unauthorized transfer. Patricia, we have a solid case here, but I need to ask, what do you want out of this? My money back? No, she leaned forward, her expression serious. What do you really want? Because we can go about this 2 ways. We can file a simple fraud claim, probably get your money back after some negotiation, keep things relatively peaceful. Or, she paused, tapping her pen against the desk. We can go nuclear, full investigation, possible criminal charges, every financial irregularity exposed. My phone buzzed again. Another text from Mom. Stop being childish. Family comes first. Call me back. I showed Jillian the message. They think I'm bluffing. They think I'll back down because family comes first. You know what? I want nuclear. You understand this could permanently damage your relationship with them? I laughed, but there was no humor in it. What relationship? The one where I'm their backup ATM? Where my brother gets houses and I get guilt trips? Fair point. Jillian started filling out forms. We'll need statements from the bank, proof of the unauthorized transfer, those text messages. My phone rang again. This time it was Caden. Put it on speaker, Jillian whispered, already taking notes. I answered. Hello? Sis, what the hell? Caden's voice was tight with anger. The bank just called me about some fraud investigation. Mom's crying. What are you doing? Exactly what I said I would do last night, reporting unauthorized access to my account. It wasn't unauthorized. Mom's name was on the account. An account she claimed to have removed herself from, in writing. I met Jillian's approving nod. Besides, having access doesn't give her the right to empty it without my permission. We're family. We don't need permission. Actually, Jillian spoke up, you absolutely do need permission, and I'm documenting this call as evidence. Who's that? Caden demanded. My lawyer, I replied calmly. Would you like her contact information for your attorney? Silence. Then, you're really doing this? You're really going to hurt Mom and Dad like this? No, Caden. I'm not hurting anyone. I'm protecting myself. There's a difference. You selfish I hung up before he could finish. My hands were shaking, but not from fear, from excitement. Well, Jillian said, finishing her notes. That was illuminating and recorded. Now let's talk about the realtor involved in this transaction. We'll need to question him about the loan application process. His name is Zachariah, I said, pulling up his business card on my phone. He's actually an old friend of Caden's. Even better. Jillian's smile was predatory. Let's see how loyal he stays when faced with potential conspiracy charges. My phone buzzed with a text from my coworker Annabelle. You okay? You look intense today? I typed back, starting a war. Tell you over lunch? You know, Jillian said, watching me text. Most people would be falling apart right now. You seem energized. I looked up at her. 10 years of savings, 10 years of being the responsible one, the reliable one, the one they could always count on to give in. Maybe I'm tired of being counted on. Maybe I want to be counted out. Well, she gathered the papers into a neat pile. Let's make sure they never make the mistake of underestimating you again. First step, we file these papers today. Second step, we subpoena your brother's loan application. Something tells me we'll find more than just your stolen savings in there. I smiled, feeling lighter than I had in years. Nuclear it is? Welcome to Casa de Caden, my brother announced, throwing open his front door with theatrical flair. The housewarming party was in full swing, and I'd arrived fashionably late with an expensive bottle of wine and a camera-ready smile. It's something, I said, taking in the half-finished renovations. Construction materials littered the corners, and there was a distinct smell of fresh paint mixed with desperation. The contractors are coming back next week, he explained quickly, grabbing the wine. Just a small delay with payments. You know how it is. Oh, I knew exactly how it was. The bank's fraud investigation was moving slowly but surely, and Caden's mortgage payments were already showing signs of strain. Patricia, Mom appeared, pulling me into a hug that smelled of Chardonnay. I'm so glad you came. I was worried after our misunderstanding. Misunderstanding, I repeated, maintaining my smile. Is that what we're calling it? Before she could respond, Zachariah approached, real estate agent smile firmly in place. Patricia, great to finally meet Caden's sister. Your brother's quite the negotiator. Got this place for a steal. I bet he did, I replied, pulling out my phone and casually hitting record in my pocket. Must have been quite the loan application process. Zachariah's smile flickered. Oh, standard stuff. Though between friends, he lowered his voice, glancing at Caden across the room. Some of the income documentation was a bit creative. Creative how? Well, he laughed nervously. Let's just say your brother's salary might have gotten a slight boost on paper. But hey, everyone does it, right? I kept my voice neutral. And the down payment verification? That was the easy part. Your mom handled all that. Though, he frowned, the bank's been asking some weird questions lately. You wouldn't know anything about that, would you? Not a thing, I lied smoothly. More wine? I circulated through the party, recording snippets of conversation. Mom bragging about Caden's success. Dad looking increasingly uncomfortable when people asked about the financing. Caden avoiding his contractor's calls. Hey, sis, Caden cornered me in the kitchen. The bank keeps calling about that fraud thing. Can't you just drop it? Look at this place. It's amazing. Don't you want your big brother to be happy? Happy? I set down my wine glass carefully. Like how happy I was when I discovered my savings were gone. You're still on that? Come on, you know Mom did it because she loves me. Because she loves you more, I corrected him. There's a difference. His face darkened. You know what your problem is? You're jealous. You've always been jealous of me. Well, guess what? The money's spent. The house is mine. What are you going to do about it? I pulled out my phone, stopping the recording. Nothing. I'm going to do absolutely nothing. Karma, on the other hand. As if on cue, my phone buzzed with an email from the bank. Urgent. Account freeze notice. I showed it to Caden. Looks like Karma's right on schedule. The color drained from his face. What did you do? Me? Nothing. But it seems the bank has some concerns about creative income documentation and unauthorized fund transfers. Weird, right? A crash from the living room interrupted us. Mom had dropped her wine glass, staring at her phone in horror. The first foreclosure warning had arrived. Patricia! She hissed, storming into the kitchen. Fix this! Now! Fix what? I asked innocently. The fraud you committed? The loan application Caden falsified? The contractor he can't pay? Which part needs fixing, Mom? We're your family. Really? Because families don't steal from each other. Families don't forge documents. Families don't. I'm your mother. And I'm your daughter, the one you stole from, The one you thought would never fight back. How's that working out for you?" The contractor chose that moment to appear. "Mr. Caden, about that overdue payment?" I slipped out during the ensuing chaos, but not before hearing Zachariah frantically explaining to someone on his phone that he had no idea about the fraudulent documentation. Outside, I took a deep breath of evening air. My phone buzzed with a text from Jillian. "Bank freeze confirmed. Mortgage fraud investigation starting. You okay?" I looked back at the house, my brother's dream home, bought with my stolen savings. Through the window, I could see Mom gesturing wildly, Dad looking defeated, and Caden's face growing redder by the second. "Never better," I texted back. "Karma's just getting started." The contractor stormed out, followed by several guests. I got in my car just as Caden's voice boomed through the neighborhood. "What do you mean, my accounts are frozen?" I started the engine, smiling. The house he didn't build was already starting to crumble. "I just don't understand why you're being so difficult about this," Mom said, stirring her coffee with sharp, angry movements. We were sitting in my favorite cafe, Neutral Territory, 3 weeks after the housewarming disaster. "Caden's missed 2 days of work this week because of stress. Is that what you wanted?" I took a slow sip of my latte. What I wanted was my savings to still be in my account. That money was just sitting there. Caden needed— "Mom," I cut her off. "I'm not having this conversation again. The bank's investigation is proceeding exactly as it should." "You're being ungrateful," she snapped. "After everything we've done for you." "Done for me?" I set my cup down with a sharp clink. "Like what? Taking my money without permission? Gaslighting me when I object? Supporting Caden's mortgage fraud?" "It wasn't fraud. He just adjusted some numbers." "I have the documents proving otherwise. Would you like to see them?" Her face paled. "What documents?" "The ones Zachariah provided to the investigation yesterday. Turns out your golden boy wasn't just creative with his salary statements. He took out another line of credit using inflated numbers." Mom's hand trembled as she reached for her phone. "I need to call your brother." "Don't bother. He's probably meeting with the bank's fraud department right now." The cafe door chimed, and Dad walked in. He looked older somehow, tired in a way I'd never seen before. He pulled up a chair without asking. "The bank called again," he said quietly. "They're freezing all associated accounts pending investigation." Mom's coffee cup clattered against its saucer. "All accounts? But what about our savings?" "Should have thought about that before co-signing on Caden's creative documentation," I said, keeping my voice level. "Patricia," Dad looked at me directly for the first time in weeks, "is there any way to fix this?" "Fix what, Dad? The theft? The fraud? Or just the consequences?" "We're your parents," Mom hissed. "Family matters more than money." Funny how that rule only applies when it's my money being taken. My phone buzzed. An email notification from the bank. "Notice of funds retraction in process." I showed it to them. Mom's face went from pale to red. "You can't do this. We'll be ruined." "No," I corrected her. "You'll face consequences. There's a difference." "Nancy," Dad said softly, "we did steal from her." Mom whirled on him. "Ernest, don't you dare." "We did," he continued, his voice growing stronger. "We took her money without asking. We helped Caden lie on his applications. We're not the victims here." I stared at my father, seeing a glimpse of the man who used to stand up to Mom before decades of enabling wore him down. My phone buzzed again, a text from Caden. "You've ruined me. I hope you're happy. They're taking my car tomorrow." "Your brother's car is being repossessed," I informed them calmly. Apparently, the loan application for that had some creative numbers, too. Mom stood up so quickly her chair scraped against the floor. Several cafe patrons turned to look. "You're heartless," she spat. "Your own brother stole from me," I finished. "With your help, and now you're both facing the consequences of your actions. Funny how that works." "We should go," Dad said, gently taking Mom's arm. Patricia, I'm sorry. We should have never. Save it, I cut him off. Your apology means nothing while you're still enabling them. They left, Mom practically dragging Dad behind her. Through the cafe window, I watched them argue in the parking lot. My phone buzzed with another text, this time from Annabelle. Bank just called Caden's office. He stormed out cursing your name. You okay? I typed back, never better. Karma's working overtime today. Another message popped up from Jillian. Housing inspector got our anonymous tip about the unpermitted renovations. Inspection scheduled for tomorrow. You sure about this? I watched my parents' car pull away, Mom gesturing wildly as Dad gripped the steering wheel. I thought about 10 years of savings, of always being the responsible one, of watching Caden get everything while I got nothing but expectations. Absolutely sure, I replied. Time to let karma finish what they started. The cafe barista brought me another latte, giving me a sympathetic smile. She'd heard everything. On the house, she said. Sounds like you could use it. I thanked her, watching steam rise from the cup. Outside, storm clouds were gathering, perfect weather for karma's next act. The glass doors of my office building burst open as Mom and Caden stormed in, their faces twisted with rage. My co-worker Annabelle shot me a warning look across our shared workspace. She's destroying everything, Caden shouted, ignoring the startled faces of my colleagues. The bank's pulling my loan. The house is going into foreclosure. Are you happy now? I kept typing, not looking up. You need to leave. This is my workplace. Like hell I'm leaving. He slammed his hand on my desk, making my coffee mug rattle. Fix this. Security, Annabelle said quietly into her phone. Patricia, Mom stepped forward, her voice shaking. The bank is freezing all our accounts. They're saying something about conspiracy to commit fraud. Your father can't even access his retirement funds. Now I looked up. Maybe you should have thought about that before helping Caden forge loan documents. I didn't forge anything. Caden's face was red. I just adjusted some numbers. While using stolen money as a down payment, I added, the bank tends to frown on that combination. It wasn't stolen, Mom insisted. I had access to that account. Access you claim to have removed, in writing. I pulled out my phone, showing the text message. The bank's fraud department found that particularly interesting. Security arrived, 2 officers I knew well from my years working in the building. Is there a problem here? Yes, I said calmly. These people are harassing me at my workplace. You heartless bitch, Caden spat. I'm your brother. And I'm your sister, the one you stole from. Funny how family only matters when you need something from me. Ms. Wong, one of the security officers, stepped forward. Would you like us to escort them out? Mom grabbed my arm. We raised you better than this. No, I pulled away. You raised me to be a doormat. I decided to be better on my own. Your brother's life is falling apart, Mom's voice cracked. He's going to lose everything. Everything he bought with my money, I corrected her, and obtained through fraud. Those are called consequences. The security officers moved to flank them. Caden's face crumpled suddenly, tears replacing rage. Please, Patty, he begged, using my childhood nickname. I'll lose the house. My car's already gone. I'll pay you back, I swear. With what money? I asked. The salary you inflated on your loan applications, the commissions you haven't earned, or Mom's enablement. That's enough, the security officer said firmly. You need to leave, now. As they were led away, Dad appeared in the doorway. He'd been so quiet I hadn't noticed him arrive. He looked at me, then at Mom and Caden being escorted out, and something seemed to break in his expression. The bank called, he said quietly. They found evidence of other fraudulent applications, going back years. I know, I replied. Jillian's been very thorough. Your mother? He hesitated. She always thought she was helping him. We both did. By stealing from me? No. He shook his head. That was wrong. I should have stopped it. I should have stopped a lot of things. For the first time since this started, I felt a crack in my armor. Why didn't you? Because it was easier to let your mother handle things, to let Caden be the golden child, to let you be the strong one. He pulled an envelope from his jacket. Here, bank statements from my personal account, the one your mother doesn't know about. It's not much, but it might help replace some of what they took. I stared at the envelope. Keep it. You'll need it when the fraud investigation freezes everything else. Patricia, no, Dad. You don't get to buy your way out of guilt. Not now. He nodded slowly, tucking the envelope away. For what it's worth, I'm sorry, and I'm proud of you. For standing up to us. A bit late for that, isn't it? He turned to leave, then paused. Your mother will never forgive you for this. Good, I said, turning back to my computer. Because I'll never forgive her either. After he left, Annabelle brought me a fresh coffee. You okay? My phone buzzed with a text from Caden. Mom's in the hospital. Collapsed after leaving your office. Hope you're satisfied. I showed Annabelle the message. They're still trying to manipulate me. Is it working? I thought about my empty savings account, about years of being the reliable one, about Mom's constant dismissal and Caden's entitled smile. No, I replied, archiving the message in my karma package folder. It's really not. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Aunt Linda, Uncle Robert, 3 cousins, and even my mother's bridge club friends, all calling to tell me what a horrible daughter I was. Did you hear what your mother texted everyone? Jillian asked, spreading case documents across her dining room table. She's claiming you orchestrated this whole thing to destroy your family. I pulled up Mom's group message. My heartless daughter has attacked our family. Her brother is losing everything. I'm in the hospital with stress-induced complications. Please pray for us in this difficult time. Watch this, I said, typing out a response to the group chat. I attached screenshots of Mom's text about removing herself from my account, bank statements showing the unauthorized withdrawal, Caden's loan applications with falsified income, and dated emails proving the premeditated fraud. My message was simple. Since we're sharing family stories, here's mine, with receipts. Brutal, Jillian nodded approvingly. How long until... My phone exploded with notifications. Then absolute silence. That's what I thought, I muttered, setting my phone face down. Amazing how quiet people get when faced with facts. Patricia, Jillian leaned forward, her expression serious. The bank's building a strong case for mortgage fraud. They're subpoenaing Zachariah tomorrow. Are you ready for this to get uglier? Uglier than my mother faking a hospital collapse? She faked it? I showed her another screenshot, a Facebook check-in from Mom at the tennis club, posted 2 hours after her supposed hospitalization. Jesus, Jillian muttered. Your family really doesn't do anything halfway, do they? My phone buzzed again, a text from Dad. Your mother's leaving the hospital. She's staying with your aunt. Says she can't handle the stress of seeing you. She's not in the hospital, I texted back. She's at tennis with Linda. No response. You know, Jillian said, sorting through more documents, revenge has a way of lingering beyond its usefulness. Are you sure you want to keep pushing? This isn't revenge, I replied, picking up a bank statement. This is justice. My phone lit up with a call from Zachariah. I put it on speaker. Patricia? His voice was shaking. Listen, about tomorrow's subpoena, what exactly am I supposed to say? The truth would be nice. But Caden's my friend, and your mom, she helped me get started in real estate. And now you can help them understand consequences, unless you'd prefer to be charged as an accomplice? Silence. Then, they're going to hate me. Welcome to the club. After hanging up, I checked my email. The bank had sent an update. Preliminary findings supported all fraud allegations. Formal charges were being considered. Your brother's going to need a good lawyer, Jillian observed. He should ask Mom to steal one for him. My phone buzzed with a text from Aunt Linda. How dare you air family business like this? Your mother raised you better." I typed back, "No, she raised me to be quiet while she favored Caden. I raised myself to be better." Another message, this time from Uncle Robert. "Your father's devastated. Is this what you wanted?" I showed Jillian the messages. Funny how they're all concerned about my parents' feelings. Not one person has asked about my stolen savings. "Family can be weird like that," she replied. "They'll justify anything to maintain the status quo." My phone rang. Caden again. Against my better judgment, I answered. "The bank's pressing charges," he said, his voice hollow. "Criminal charges, Patricia. Do you understand what that means? That actions have consequences? I could go to jail over a little creative accounting." "And theft," I added. "Don't forget the theft." "It wasn't." He stopped. "Okay, you win. What do you want? An apology? Fine, I'm sorry. We're sorry. Just call off the investigation." "It doesn't work like that, Caden. I can't just call off a federal fraud investigation." "Then what was the point of all this?" I thought about years of being the responsible one, the reliable one, the one who always had to understand and forgive and give. The point was showing you that actions have consequences, even yours, even Mom's. "You've destroyed this family," he whispered. "No," I corrected him. "You and Mom did that when you decided my savings were your property. I'm just making sure everyone knows the truth." After hanging up, I looked at Jillian. "Still think this is about revenge?" She smiled sadly. "No, I think this is about something much more expensive than money." "What's that?" "Self-respect." My phone buzzed one last time, a message from Mom. "I hope you're happy with what you've done." I archived it without responding. Sometimes silence was the loudest revenge of all. The courtroom was quieter than I expected. Mom sat in the front row, clutching her designer handbag like a shield. Caden slumped beside his lawyer, looking nothing like the confident golden boy who'd stolen my savings 3 months ago. "The court finds in favor of the plaintiff," the judge announced, shuffling papers. "The unauthorized transfer of $92,000 is to be returned in full, with interest. Furthermore, given the evidence of mortgage fraud—" Mom made a small choking sound. Dad reached for her hand, but she pulled away. "Your Honor," Caden's lawyer stood up. "My client would like to propose a private settlement." "The time for private settlements has passed," the judge cut him off. "The evidence of deliberate fraud is substantial. Mr. Martin's testimony was quite illuminating." I glanced at Zachariah, sitting pale-faced in the back row. He'd sung like a canary once the fraud investigator started digging. "The property will be foreclosed," the judge continued. "All frozen assets will remain so pending criminal investigation. Court adjourned." As people started filing out, Mom rushed toward me. "Patricia, please. We can still fix this as a family." "Family?" I turned to face her. "Was it family when you emptied my account? When you helped Caden forge loan documents? Or is it only family when you need something from me?" "I'm your mother." "Exactly, which makes your betrayal even worse." Caden approached, his expensive suit now looking wrinkled and worn. "They're pressing criminal charges, Patty. Actual criminal charges. Is that what you wanted?" "What I wanted was my savings safe in my account. What I wanted was a mother who respected me. What I wanted was a brother who didn't think he was entitled to everything I worked for." "We can work something out," he pleaded. "Maybe if you talk to the bank." "The bank?" I laughed. "The bank that found evidence of your previous fraudulent loans? The ones Mom helped you get? That bank?" Dad stepped forward. "Patricia, don't," I cut him off. "Just don't. Your silence enabled all of this." "But we're still family," Mom insisted, grabbing my arm. "Blood is thicker than water." I pulled away. "Funny how that only applies when you need something from me." Jillian appeared at my side. "My client has nothing more to say. Please direct all future communication through my office." As we walked out of the courthouse, reporters were waiting. Mom pushed past them, mascara streaking her face. Caden ducked his head, ignoring questions about mortgage fraud. "How does it feel to win?" one reporter asked me. I paused. This wasn't about winning, it was about consequences. Back at my apartment, Annabelle was waiting with wine and takeout. "Heard the Golden Boy's moving back in with your parents," she said, pouring generous glasses. "Of course he is," I replied. "Where else would he go? He's never had to stand on his own feet." My phone buzzed, a text from Dad. "Your mother's not eating. She says she'll never forgive you." "Good," I typed back. "I'll never forgive her either. Actions have consequences." Another buzz. "Aunt Linda, the whole neighborhood's talking about this. How could you humiliate your family like this?" I blocked her number. "You okay?" Annabelle asked, watching me. "Better than okay," I said, pulling out a piece of paper from my bag. "Look what came today." She read it. Notice of funds recovery, $92,000 plus interest to be deposited. "What are you going to do with it?" I smiled, pulling up a real estate listing on my phone. "Buy my own place, a small condo, no family loans, no creative accounting, no stolen money, just mine." My phone rang. Caden again. I let it go to voicemail. "He's been calling all day," I explained to Annabelle. "Apparently, the criminal investigation is finding more irregularities. Mom's implicated in some of his previous loans, too." "Are you going to help them?" I thought about years of being the reliable one, the responsible one, the one who always had to understand and forgive. "No," I said finally. "They made their choices. Now they can live with them." Later that night, as Annabelle left, she hugged me tight. "For what it's worth, I'm proud of you. Standing up to family is the hardest thing." I watched her leave, then went to my balcony. In the distance, I could see the neighborhood where Caden's foreclosed house stood empty. Mom's tennis club was somewhere over there, too, though she hadn't been seen there since the court date. My phone buzzed one last time, a message from Dad. "Caden's meeting with criminal lawyers tomorrow. Your mother's asking if you'll help with the legal fees." I typed back, "No, she can afford it. She has no kids to support, remember?" Then I blocked his number too, opened my wine, and watched the sunset. Sometimes karma needed a little help, but once it got started, it did beautiful work. "Welcome home," the realtor said, handing me the keys to my new condo. "It's all yours." I stood in the empty living room, sunlight streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows. My space, my life savings, recovered and reinvested in something that was completely mine. My phone buzzed. Jillian. "Criminal charges filed against Caden today. Your mother's been named as co-conspirator in 3 previous fraudulent loans." I set my phone down without responding and unpacked a single wine glass from a box marked kitchen. The doorbell rang. Annabelle, carrying Chinese takeout and a bottle of champagne. "First meal in the new place has to be special," she announced, setting everything on the floor since I hadn't bought furniture yet. "No plates yet," I warned her. "That's why I brought paper ones." She pulled them from her bag. "Also, have you seen the neighborhood Facebook group? Your mom's been posting again." I pulled up the group on my phone. Mom's latest post was a masterpiece of manipulation. "Pray for our family in these difficult times. Sometimes those we love most hurt us deepest." "The comments are interesting," Annabelle noted. She was right. Instead of the usual sympathy, people were asking questions. Someone had linked to the court documents. Another mentioned Caden's previous fraudulent loans. The carefully crafted narrative was unraveling. The doorbell rang again. Jillian, this time, looking serious. "Your father's downstairs," she said. "Wants to talk. Should I send him away?" I thought for a moment. "No, let him up." Dad looked older than ever when he walked in, carrying a small box. "Nice place," he said quietly, looking around. "Better than Caden's was." "Because I bought it honestly," I replied. "What do you want, Dad?" He set the box down. "Found these while packing up the house. Your old report cards, some photos. Thought you might want them." "Packing up the house?" He nodded. "We're selling it. Your mother's legal fees. Well, they're substantial, and Caden's living with us now, so... Still enabling them both, I see. No, he said firmly. I'm leaving your mother. Filed the papers yesterday. The champagne glass nearly slipped from my hand. What? Should have done it years ago. Should have stopped her when she took your money. Should have done a lot of things differently. He pulled an envelope from his jacket. This too, it's not much, but it's what I managed to save without her knowing. I didn't take it. Keep it. You'll need it. Patricia, his voice cracked. I failed you. I watched her favor Caden, watched her steal from you, watched her destroy this family, and I said nothing. I'm sorry. The silence stretched between us, filled with decades of unspoken words. Why now? I finally asked. Because you were brave enough to stand up to them, and I realized I never was. My phone buzzed, a news alert about Caden's criminal charges. Dad saw it, too. He's not taking it well, Dad said. Keeps saying you destroyed the family. No, I corrected him. Mom's favoritism destroyed the family. Caden's entitlement destroyed the family. My savings just paid for the demolition. He nodded slowly. Your mother wants to meet, to explain her side. There is no her side to theft and fraud. That's what I told her. He turned to leave, then stopped. For what it's worth, I'm proud of you. Not just for standing up to them, but for building your own life, for being better than all of us. After he left, Annabelle poured more champagne. You okay? Better than okay, I replied, looking around my empty condo. I'm free. My phone buzzed one last time. Mom. Your father's abandoned me, just like you did. I hope you're satisfied with destroying this family. I showed the message to Jillian and Annabelle. Still trying to manipulate you? Jillian observed. Still not working, I replied, blocking Mom's number permanently. We sat on the floor of my empty condo, eating Chinese food from paper plates, drinking champagne from the only wine glass I owned, and I felt lighter than I had in years. To karma? Annabelle raised her paper cup. To consequences, Jillian added. To me, I said quietly, looking out at the city lights. To finally choosing myself. The sun set over my new beginning, painting the empty walls with golden light. Tomorrow I'd buy furniture, hang artwork, make this space my own. But tonight, sitting here with real friends who supported my strength instead of family who exploited my loyalty, I was already home. My phone lay silent, Mom and Caden's numbers blocked, their drama finally muted. Sometimes the happiest ending isn't about forgiveness or reconciliation. Sometimes it's about walking away and building something better from the ashes of what they burned.